Today I'm going to show you how to design Epione's attachment piece using SolidWorks. So go on ahead and open up SolidWorks and choose part. And then we're going to be working in inches, so choose your units to be IPS. Now we're going to start working on the top plane, so go on ahead and click on the top plane and sketch. So choose the top plane. Now we're first going to start off with a center rectangle. So go on ahead and do that. Click that check mark. Next, we are going to draw a horizontal line outwards. And then we're going to draw one more line from that point down at an angle. And then we're going to draw a center line through the origin horizontally. Next, I'm going to use Smart Dimension, and we're going to make this line right here 2 inches long, and this vertical line here 1.5 inches long. Next, we're going to go on ahead and make this line right here 1 inch, and then we're going to make this line, the angle between that line and this line right here, 45 degrees. Last but not least, we are going to set the length of this line to 0.35 inches. Now that we've done that, I'm going to go on ahead and mirror these two lines because of symmetry. So I'm going to go on ahead and mirror that about the center line we created earlier. There we go. So next I'm going to go on ahead and draw in a 3-point arc. So I'm going to click on here. I'm going to choose its center to be in line with the 2 points at the end of the two 0.35 inch long lines. So I'm going to click on that point, hold down my control key, and pick these 2 points, and I'm going to make them vertical. And now I'm going to use trim entities. So we're going to trim this line and this line, and that gives us a full filled shape. And as you can see, it is fully defined. So we're going to click the green check mark, and then we're going to go to Features, Extrude Boss Base, and we want this to be a thickness of 0.25 inches. So we're going to go on ahead and extrude upwards. So now we're going to create the next sketch, and then we are going to be drawing on this top surface here. So I'm going to go on ahead and rotate our piece so that it is easier to see and draw on. Now I'm going to go on ahead and convert entities. So I'm going to convert this line, this curve, and these other 2 lines. So I'm going to go on ahead and click check, and that allows me to use these lines in my sketch without actually having to define them again. So now I'm going to go on ahead and draw one more line, and I'm going to click here and make it coincident, and I'm going to choose to make it vertical and connect it down here. Now we're going to go on ahead and use Smart Dimension and choose this length to be 1.25 inches, fully defining our sketch. Now we're going to go to Features, Extrude Boss Base, and we are going to extrude this up 0.5 inches. And click that check mark. Next, we are going to create our circular groove where the needle will be placed. So we're going to choose Sketch in this top surface. And now I'm going to create a 3-point arc. I'm going to click on this line right here to make them coincident. I'm going to choose my other point on the opposite line. I'm going to click the green check mark. Next, I'm going to convert entities and convert these two lines into our sketch. Now I'm going to use Smart Dimension and choose the radius to be 0.61 inches. Next, I'm going to go ahead and choose this radius to be 0.61 inches. I'm going to click that green check mark. And now I'm going to go on ahead and convert this line right here and this line right here. Now I'm going to click on this point right here, hold down Control, and choose this point and make it vertical. Now this will hold this center of the circle in the same line as these 2 points. Next, I'm going to draw another 3-point arc. This time I'm going to make it on the outside of this circle. Click that green check mark. Now I'm going to click on the centers of the circle while holding down Control. And I'm going to make them both vertical and horizontal. Next, I'm going to use Trim Entities to cut off the extra segments of this line. And now we have a completely shaded in region. I will now use Smart Dimension, and we are going to define the length of this line segment to 0.06 inches long. And we don't necessarily need to do that for this side, as the center of the circles are tangent. Next, we will click on the center of the 2 circles, hold down Control, and click on the origin and make them horizontal. Now we have a complete, fully defined sketch. We will now use Features and Extrude Cut, which allows us to cut into this surface right here. So we will define this to be depth of 0.08 inches and click that check mark. The reason why we are using blind is because we want to blindly cut to a depth of 0.08 inches. And there we have it, there's our groove. Next, we're going to choose a new sketch and choose this surface. And we're going to create a corner rectangle beginning at this vertex. We're going to drag it down. We will use Smart Dimension and choose this distance right here to be 0.25 inches. And this length right here to be 0.5 inches. I'm going to do the same thing for the other vertex down here. .5 inches and 0.25 inches. Now I'm going to go on ahead and boss extrude once again. And this time it's going to have a thickness of 0.5 inches. As you can see, our part is starting to come together. Now we'll be adding these side walls to this back piece here. So we're going to choose Sketch, then choose this top face, and I'm going to use Convert Entities, and I'm going to convert these side edges as well as these side edges, almost like creating a square. Next, I'm going to choose to draw a line horizontally from these two side edges, making sure that it is coincident and horizontal. I'm going to do the same thing down here. Now I'm going to choose the distance between this line and this line, and that is going to be 0.25 inches as well to line up with this piece here. I'm going to do the same thing here, 0.25 inches. I'm going to use Trim Entities to trim off this excess segment, and now we have two shaded regions. And as you can see, it lines up with this block that we just created previously. Next, I'm going to extrude these two pieces up to a distance of 1 inches. I'm going to change this to 1. Next, we are going to create our indents in the walls. So we're going to choose Sketch. I'm going to choose this top plane. And now I'm going to choose to draw a line from this edge to this edge horizontally. I'm going to convert entities and choose these three lines. Click that green check mark, and I'm going to trim the excess line segment. And now we have a shaded in region. Next, I will use the Smart Dimension tool to choose this length from this line to this line to be 0.13 inches. I will now use Extrude Cut to cut down 0.2 inches. And I will use a blind cut as described before. Now I'm going to replicate this on the other wall. I'm going to convert entities. And create a line from this segment to this segment. And I'm going to delete the relation of midpoint because we want it to be a certain distance away, not at the midpoint. I'm going to choose these two lines here to be 0.13 inches. And I'm going to trim the excess line segments. I will now extrude cut blindly 0.2 inches down. And there we go. Next, I'm going to sketch on this plane down here, and we are going to create the features which hold the holes that connect the top piece down to the attachment piece. So I'm going to choose a quarter rectangle I'm going to draw a rectangle along this line here. I'm now going to use Smart Dimension. I'm going to choose this length to be 0.35 inches. And its width to be 0.2 inches. Next, I'm going to choose the distance between this line and the origin to be 0.2 inches. I'm going to replicate this on the other side. Again, using Smart Dimension tool, changing this to 0.35 inches, 0.2 inches. Now, to fully define this sketch, I'm going to click on this point right here, hold down Control, and click on this point right here, and I'm going to make them vertical. I'm now going to click on Features, now that our sketches are fully defined, extrude boss base up, and choose its distance to be 0.8 inches, and click that green check mark. Again, we're using the blind extrusion. I'm going to choose to draw a circle here, and I'm going to choose its diameter to be 0.25 inches. Next, I'm going to choose the distance from the center of the circle to this edge here to be 0.16 inches. Now, I will choose the center of the circle, hold down Control, and choose the center midpoint of that line and choose them to be vertical. Now this fully defines our circle. I'm going to do these steps one more time on this side. So I'm going to click the OK. I'm going to create a new sketch. Draw a circle. Choose its diameter to be 0.25. Choose the distance from its center to this line to be 0.16 inches. Click that green check mark to exit Smart Dimension. And now click the center of the circle and the midpoint of this line and make them vertical. Now we have both fully defined sketches. Now we're going to go to Features and Extrude Cut. And this time, instead of using blind, we are going to choose the Through All option because we want this hole to go through the entire piece. As you can see, it already pre-selected both our holes for us. I'm going to go on ahead and click that green check mark. And as you can see, it's gone all the way through. Now, we are going to create the circular edge here on the attachment piece. So I'm going to choose to create a new sketch. I'm going to click this top surface here. I'm going to convert this edge right here, this closest one. This edge is also going to need to be converted, and this edge over here as well. Next, I'm going to draw a 3-point arc, and I'm going to choose its points to be tangent to these two, and I'm going to choose its curvature like so. Next, we are going to use the Smart Dimension tool, and we are going to choose the distance from the center point of the arc to this line to be 0.78 inches. We are going to choose the center point of the arc and this line, and we are going to make them coincident. Now we are going to use trim entities, and we are going to trim these two. And now we are going to use Smart Dimension one more time. So we're going to click Smart Dimension, and we're going to choose this distance to be 0.18 inches. And now we have a fully defined sketch. Next, we are going to use Extrude Cut. We are going to blindly cut down, and we're going to choose these two contours. Next, I'm going to choose the depth to be 0.5 inches for our cut. I'm going to use a blind cut, and I'm going to click the green check mark. Now, our last feature to add is going to be our circular component, which will hold our inner mechanisms together to drive the needle. So I'm going to choose Sketch, and I'm going to choose this bottom surface, and I'm going to draw a circle out from the origin, and I'm going to choose its diameter to be 0.25 inches. Now I will extrude boss base the circle up, and its depth is going to be 0.25 inches as well. And click the green check mark. Now I'm going to create the cap of this circular component. So first, to do that, I'm going to need to create a reference plane. So I'm going to choose Reference Geometry, Plane, and the first reference is going to be this top surface. So I'm going to click that green check mark. I'm going to extend this plane out. I'm going to choose Sketch, and I'm going to choose the plane that we just created, so plane 1. Now I'm going to draw another circle out from the origin and choose its diameter to be 0.45 inches. Now again, we need to use a reference plane versus the top circular surface that we just extruded up, because the circle that we are sketching is much larger than the circle that we just extruded. So we're going to go on ahead and extrude this sketch up to a distance of 0.1 inches. And there we have it. This is our attachment piece. Before creating our top piece to the attachment piece, we are going to go on ahead and set our material to ABS plastic. So plastics, ABS. Now to create the attachment piece top, we're going to open up a new file, choose Part, and again we're going to choose IPS as our units. Now I'm going to create a new sketch. I'm going to choose the top plane. I'm going to choose the center rectangle and drag it out from the origin. Next, I'm going to choose this distance to be 2.25 inches and this to be 1.25 inches. I'm now going to extrude up 0.2 inches. This creates our basic feature for the top attachment piece, and now all we have to do is sketch our holes and cut them through, which will line up with the holes we previously created on our attachment piece. So I'm going to choose Sketch, choose this top surface, I'm going to choose a circle, I'm going to go on ahead and just draw a circle in. I'm going to choose this circle's diameter to be 0.25 inches. I'm going to choose that the center of the circle is a total distance of 0.63 inches away from this side here, and 1.6 inches from this side here. Next, I'm going to draw a center line horizontally across which will allow us to then mirror this circle over here. So I'm choosing Mirror Entities, Entities to Mirror, the circle, Mirror About, the center line. I'm going to click that green check mark. Now I'm going to choose Features, Extrude Cut. As you can see, the two circles are pre-selected. I'm going to choose Through All instead of Lined, so we can cut all the way through. So this is where our bolts will go through, and then through the attachment piece as well. So I'm going to click that green check mark. Now, last but not least, we are going to edit the material and choose ABS plastic. And there we have it.